All right, hey you guys, this is TsubakiSwagg, and I'm coming to you with my review of Junketsu no Maria episode 8. Man is a wolf of man, I think. But this episode was actually it was it was really sad. I'd have to say this episode was really sad, and it looks like things are about to get really bad for Maria right now. But as we saw in last week's episode, when Anne's father came home and Anne was calling out to Martha, whom is her grandmother, there was no response, and then that was the end of the episode. So, in this episode, we see like Maria, she's coming home from Edwina's house, and she's talking to like Ezekiel and Priapus and Artemis, and Priapus and Artemis were going, Priapus and Ezekiel were going back and forth about Maria using her powers in public, blah, blah, blah. Ezekiel's like, next time I might not be able to save you, so you need to stop using your powers in public. So they got home, and there were these little, like, goblin looking things. They were so cute, though. They were like little baby Yodas with no hair. And they were all waiting outside of her house. I guess they were waiting for her to come so she could heal them, because they had been not necessarily in the war, but they were like a product of what the war is doing to them, and they were all beat up and everything. So she healed them, and she was like, you can stay here, but until the war ends, I think it's going to be peaceful around here for a while, blah blah blah. And they were like, no, we're just going to go back home, because that was where we were born and raised. So they went about their business, and then of course they went in the house. Maria is still like hurt from the incident with Archangel Michael, so she can't do a whole lot. Even though she's still very much her old self, she can't do as much as she was doing. And they had this whole spiel with the goblins. They told her, like, right before they left, that Anne had come to her house looking for her to get the medicine for her grandmother, and she was like crying and everything. And then they cut to like Anne's house. Well, she sent Priapus to go check out things, and it turns out that Anne's grandmother, Martha, she was okay now. She got medicine from Brother Bernard, and the lower brother. I can't remember what his name is, because he's not a real prominent character. But she got medicine from Brother Bernard, and it actually made her better. She healed rather quickly. So they were putting the thoughts into her and Anne and everyone in their family's head, even everyone in their village, that Maria was giving her poison, and that Maria was poisoning her all this time, which was why she could never get better, blah, blah, blah. And Anne was just so hurt by this, and she saw Priapus, and she was talking to Priapus, and she asked him, she was like, did Maria really poison my grandmother, blah blah blah. And Priapus was like, of course she didn't poison your grandmother. And they just had this whole conversation. Priapus pretty much told her that the brother was lying to them, telling them that Maria poison them, so that way they wouldn't trust Maria anymore, and they would have to solely rely on them, blah blah blah. So after that, they also showed Martha talking to Brother Bernard. Like, Brother Bernard came to see her, and he pretty much told her that she needs to stop associating with Maria, and once she stops associating with Maria, then she can be truly under divine protection, blah blah blah. And Martha, this just made me so sad. She pretty much renounced her friendship with Maria, even though she's been friends with Maria for a very long time. So that hurt my heart so bad. So she was like, I repent of my sins for associating with the witch Maria, and I shall never associate with her from here forward. So Maria just lost her like lifelong friend, and Anne was just so appalled by this. And it was so freaking sad. Bernard gets on my fucking nerves. I mean, I understand that he is a monk and he's supposed to be of the church, but he is nowhere near perfect, and he's nothing as what he makes himself seem. Like, it's just, that just made me angry. And he pretty much told the whole village not to listen to Maria, that eventually if they just cut her out of their hearts, that she won't be an issue anymore. Like, they won't have to think or worry about her. She'll eventually just disappear from their memories, which really fucking sucks because Maria is freaking awesome, and she went out of her way for all of those people. So I don't know, I don't understand. It just makes me really sad. It really does make me really sad. But just this episode was so freaking sad. And then, like, of course, Joseph, after he talked to the comet about Maria, he had to take something to Galfa, and he took a box to Galfa, and Galfa was like, "Why are you looking at me like that?" Because Galfa doesn't have an arm now, so he has a little nubby. And him and Loletta were in the room, and after Joseph left, after their uneventful conversation about Maria, Loletta asked Galfa why he likes Joseph, and he was like, "I don't like Joseph, blah, blah, blah." He was just being a butthole. But I think he's just butthurt because he knows that Joseph likes Maria, or is in love with Maria. So after that, Joseph was on his way to go see Maria when Priapus found him, and Priapus was like, "I have something that I need to tell Maria, and I want you to be there because you're the only person I think that can calm her down." And he was like, "Well, I need to talk to her too." So they both went, and they pretty much told Maria, like, what happened, like, with the whole situation with them telling them, with Brother Bernard and everyone telling them in the village that she poisoned Martha and that they don't need to associate with her and blah blah blah. And Maria was literally about to go to the village and try to talk some sense into all those people, and Joseph was like, "You need to calm down. This is not making the situation any better. Doing what you're doing is not making the situation better at all." And Ezekiel jumped in, and she was crying. It was so sad because Ezekiel has, like, love for Maria. She has grown to love Maria, even though at first I want to say she genuinely hated her. So she was in tears, and she was telling Maria to stop. "Why are you doing all this? I understand that you have your beliefs, but doing all this is not making it any better. Everyone considers you a heretic because in this world you are a heretic. You're a witch. You practice witchcraft, and that's never going to be okay to these people. Like, they'll accept it for the time that they need it, but once they don't need you anymore, they're pretty much going to kick you to the curb." And that was what she was trying to explain to her, but Maria still wasn't getting it. So Ezekiel was just so sad and hurt. And then Joseph was about to leave. She was walking Joseph out, and Joseph pretty much told her that no matter what her beliefs are, to continue following what she believes in, and no matter what happens, he is going to be with her. He is going to stand by her until the end. He is going to do whatever it takes to be by her side, which I thought was really freaking sweet. So when he was trying to walk away, Maria, like, grabbed him around the waist and hugged him, and he didn't know what to do at first. And it was so funny. Maria, I guess she didn't realize what she did, but when Joseph started talking to her, she freaked out. She started blushing, and she just ran back and threw her arms up in the air and was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know. I wasn't ready." "What you put in your mouth and didn't even chew?" It was so funny. That actually made me laugh. So after that, Joseph left, and she was talking to Artemis, and Artemis was like, "So, did you finally lose your virginity?" She's like, "No, what in the world makes you think that?" And she was like, "Well, you were outside for a while with Joseph. You took your time out there, so thought maybe something happened." Artemis is just a dirty old whore. That's pretty much she is. But while they were conversing and talking about Ezekiel, and Maria was like, "Why is all this stuff happening to me?" The smoky figure, she said his name, but I can't remember what his name is. The smoky figure that keeps coming up appeared to them in the house, and he was talking to her, pretty much telling her, like, why don't you join our forces? Why don't you come be on our side? Because if you come be on our side, then you'll be okay, blah, blah, blah. So, and while all this was happening, Ezekiel heard the conversation. I mean, she made it look like she was asleep, but she heard the conversation, and Artemis scared him away. But also, Galfa, he is ruthless. Like, he went to go meet this man in the woods, and the man was trying to kill him. So we learned what is in that box, and it's an arm. So Galfa has a new arm, and he put a knife in it, and he killed the man. And then Loletta looted his body, which was kind of sad. So Galfa got an arm now, and he's gonna be the leader of the Red Barons, the Red Arm Baron, something like that. So yeah, and also the conversation between him and Bernard. Bernard pretty much told him to rape Maria. I was like, really, dude? That's what we do now? And you're supposed to be a monk of the church, and you're telling somebody to rape another person? The fuck? Where'd I do that at? I honestly, that really just pissed me off to absolutely no end. The fact that he would tell Galfa to rape her, because he was like, well, that was pretty much what you were going to do anyway, so I made this special medicine for you, and you can do whatever you want to do with it, blah, blah, blah. It was, that just irritated me to absolutely no end. So the next episode is about to get real interesting. I really hope Galfa doesn't rape Maria, because that would really fucking suck, and it would pretty much put a damper on the rest of the show, because once she loses her virginity, regardless of how she loses it, she can't be a witch anymore, which means she can't do witchcraft. But it would be awesome if there were, even under adversity, even after she loses her virginity, she can still be a witch. That'd be awesome. I mean, because like all the other witches in the Witches Council, for example, don't have their virginity, and they're still witches. So I think it would be awesome. So yeah. So as always, I know I rambled on a whole lot, but this episode I had a whole lot to say. So as always, I would love to hear how you guys felt about this episode. How do you feel about the way things turned out? But please remember to comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. It helps me out a whole lot. And this is TsubakiSwagg saying adios.